Uh, Peace. Hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. Currently in the whip as we speak, en route to the hometown, to the fort, Brooklyn, New York City. I'm actually in New Jersey now, where I live, or where I currently reside. And heading to New York for a funeral, unfortunately. And I gotta go to my old trip. Uh, Sorry, I must have lost for a second. I should be in about a half hour, 40 minutes, if my judgment is correct. I'm not using GPS, but wanted to both BS with you guys. Oh, I could also show you guys my neighborhood too, and show you how much it's changed. Show you how many migrants we have. Live and in the flesh this weekend, the election weekend. As you guys know, the American people, one of their biggest issues leading into this election is migrants. And as far as my logistics go, I could say I'm an expert on the subject, being that my hometown, Brooklyn, New York, or Sunset Park, Brooklyn, is currently inundated with migrants. And no, they're not the type that bring culture into community. They're the type that bring many men in violence into my community, as far as what I could testify to and what I've seen in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. But it's not exclusive to the New York City experience, because you got the same reports in Chicago, in Columbus, Ohio now, all along the border, Yuma, Arizona. I mean, like, these are border towns. Yeah, you expect that they have a steady inflow of migrants just because of where they're placed logistically in proportion to, in relation to Mexico and America. But there's towns along the border that, yes, they've always had a migration problem, but now they have an overwhelming migration problem. It's very, very easy to sneak into the country, and that's the reason why the numbers of new migrants coming into the country has skyrocketed. Having said that, we're going into this election, and that issue is principal on most people's minds. Certainly in my case, because I happen to live in a migrant town. As I've heard politicians, both liberal and conservative, say many times over in speaking of this migrant crisis, is that every town in America is becoming a border town, because no matter what, some of these migrants are going to end up all throughout the Midwest, the West Coast, you name it. People drive like idiots over here, bro. I swear to God. But and that's true. I mean, like, right now, the people like that are in New York are not gonna be able to stay in New York, guarantee. Like, I mean, because even before this happened, like even before COVID, I tell people that New York had a gentrification problem that already had black and Latin people that were born in New York and raised in New York. It already had them feeling the pinch of not being able to find affordable housing, because gentrification lifting the rate of rents in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, New York, the city, the neighborhood in which I'm from. So we already had that problem prior to all of this stuff, prior to COVID, let's say. But around the time of COVID, and around the time that the Biden administration, Kamala Harris administration, took office, our migrant problem went from something that we deal with as generations go on and on and on, where one group replaces another, to where nobody had the money to leave when gentrification started happening, which didn't include any migrants. Gentrification started happening with yuppies, and when the yuppies came in, you better believe that black and Latin people were feeling the pinch of them moving in, not only economically, but that's when really the police started policing black and Latin people heavy duty, when the yuppies were moving into the urban areas of New York City, like Harlem. You know, the first wave came of yuppies along with a wave of police right behind them. Some people thought that ends justified the means at that point. I mean, I was too young to understand, and I didn't feel nowadays I don't feel much of a way about it. But as I was going through the 90s, and being that I looked at the cops as a personage of anonymity at all times, you know, I felt really emotional about it at that time. Now, I mean, I don't live in an area like where like they're really busting my chops. I mean, and I really, even if I go to an area where there are lots of police and whatnot, you know, I try to stay on the low and not get picked off or not get picked out. Best I could, you know, best as I can control it. You know, I know what it is. I know what it is, my peoples. I know it's harder for some people. I know it's, you know, easier for others. Absolutely. I know you know, it's not fair, but at times, at the end of the day, you got to deal with the cards that you're dealing with. To ask like the white overlords to police our every moves and try to stop racism from existing in the world. I mean, at this stage, I'm old enough to say that racism is almost natural, and it's something that we have to live with in a sense, especially if it's hurting our pockets, or if it's hurting our ability to speak about certain things. Pretty soon, I mean, we keep going at this rate, it's going to be racist, supposedly, to speak against the rainbow community in any form, regardless of what actions they're taking, whether it's reading to children in schools, which a lot of white perverts dressed as women have a propensity of wanting to do, as far as dressing as women, white men, perverts, and reading to children in schools. You know, some people in the race to fight racism, or in the race to fight against COVID, or in the race to fight bigotry, you know, we sell ourselves out in the process, and like it's happening more and more of a country. And honestly, we gotta come to the conclusion, or I'm coming to the conclusion now, that a lot of people are in most cases dumb, but I don't want to diss people too. I mean, like, we're all busy and it's really hard to stay informed, but a lot of people are misinformed. And no, that doesn't mean that we should be policing misinformation. I think that people are misinformed because of a lack of information, or a lack of being able to disseminate information. We really went at the standard change of letting the TV tell us what was right and wrong, or who was right and wrong, pretty much the whole last presidency. And now, I mean, like, people are coming to grips with, like, listen, we should be thinking about everything way differently. At least I am, for the last couple of years. But I think people are coming to the realization that I came to in 2019 and 2020. I think people are coming to that realization now. But listen, I don't diss anybody. At the end of the day, you know, especially with people that look like my black and Latin brothers, all the, you know, these people go back to being my brothers and my neighbors, the people that I converse with. Wednesday, the day after the election. I mean, maybe not. Probably not. I mean, things are gonna be riveted up. But I don't want to say, oh shit, just say like nothing changes for us. I mean, no, I hate talking like that. I used to talk like that a couple of years ago even, but things seem to not change for us. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're here on this earth and we control our destiny. I mean, so if things aren't changing for you as an individual, I mean, you know, you always have the ability to fight your way up, fight your way out of it. Yes, I mean, is it unfair that certain conditions are harder for certain people? Absolutely. I mean, I've bitched about that my whole life. You know, when I was coming up, I honestly thought we had it a little bit harder than my black brothers and sisters in my neighborhood, as far as with the police, as far as racism goes. Like, police like hated us, you know, and our fathers, as far as the Puerto Rican cats, dipped off. Our fathers were the ones doing dope in the neighborhood, giving cops a hard time, in addition to their sons giving the cops a hard time. Whereas, like, the last, like, legit families in my neighborhood, like, in mass, were kind of like the black people. You know, like the Dominicans, as soon as they got here, like their family structure broke up. And I mean, like most of my peoples are Dominicans. I'm cool with the first wave of Dominicans that came to Sunset Park, at least. You know, those are my brothers. But I didn't like see a lot of them, like they like I mean they didn't have the heroin problem that Puerto Rican dads had, no, like Dominicans, but they had a want to get laid problem. But as far as the dads went, you know, like they like the American way, or they got intoxicated by the American way, selling drugs and whatnot in my neighborhood. But you know, a lot of the black dads that were around and whatnot were like the legit like mechanic cats, or like, you know, some of the last example homeowners. And like it wasn't like they were a different class. There's a lot of people, you know, like they were my best friend Marquis. I mean, his dad was around as soon as he got out of jail. I mean, like his dad was always around until he passed. Like, and you know, but you would see that more, like the family structure more in among the black cats in my neighborhood than you would the Latin cats. So I always thought, and when I was coming up, at least in the 90s, that like police were a little bit rougher on us, like in my neighborhood. Not saying the whole New York City. So I know what it feels like to be under the boot. But at the end of the day, in spite of the fact that I've been at the mercy of cops being dicks to me, you know, the last time it's happened, like to me, I mean, it's probably been like since 2017. It's 2014 now. I mean, and the thing is, I mean, I know how to I don't like sweet talk my way out of situations or nothing like that, but I mean, like, I'm definitely not a dick to cops. I mean, I've been like, cops have put their hands on me. I know I ain't fight back, nothing, because I don't want to get my ass kicked. I know what it is. I know the odds are, if it's like, if it were one cop against me, that's like something else. But like, I'm not trying to get my ass kicked. Like, especially back in the day, I was a shrimp. So again, I mean, I've been at the mercy of bad policing a couple times in my life, but at the end of the day, how many times does that happen to me total? Like, it doesn't even happen once a year on average, like other than when I was living in the hood. And I mean, if you have no choice of other to live in the hood, I mean, I understand. But politically, I mean, like we should be getting way more activated, and we don't. Cause honestly, listen, I'm not gonna front, man. Like when the police used to fuck with people in the hood, a lot of times, like unless they were being abusive, a lot of people would laugh and shit. Like when people would get caught up doing shit back in the day, at least from what I remember, like in certain instances, like I mean, if it was like a thief and shit like that, or just a neighbor, like somebody that you knew to be an idiot, like somebody who was getting in trouble, like most people wouldn't trip over that shit. Most people would laugh. I mean, it wasn't like they were knocking young people's heads in all the time, although they were knocking young people's heads in. Like I said, like I was, and my friends were many times, the unlikely benefactor or the unlucky benefactor of bad policing. But am I gonna change my life in 2024 because a cop put hands on me like when I was a kid? Hells no, you crazy, bro. Like, come on. Like I'm not that like that means that cop's in my head every day, like fucking like, oh god, like it's not fair. It's not fair. It isn't fair, legit. Nah, like for real, it isn't fair. But am I gonna live my life like a little bitch, like, or like fucking or I want to hear somebody crying about like shit not being fair, like when I don't see the same amount of like fight and vigor. In all cases, like, yeah, we could point out things that aren't fair, but then we gotta fight our way out of it. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, you know, and like right now in this country, I mean, we're gonna be dealt with a choice of either A, live like slaves, because there's no economic way of climbing out of this migrant crisis. And you'll see when I go to my neighborhood what it looks like. I mean, like, you'll see, like, my neighborhood, it doesn't seem as if it's something that you could navigate out of really quickly. In fact, when I go to my neighborhood, I'm gonna stop by. I'm gonna see if I have enough time, because I gotta get to a funeral too, and I want to see some of my peoples because the funeral that I'm going to is not in my neighborhood. It's actually I'm going to my neighborhood to pick up my friend, but the funeral we're going to is actually for one of our brothers. And one love to my brotherhood, man. Like rest in peace to Bob. But we're going to my friend's funeral in Crown Heights, which is quite a ways away. So, but I gotta go to two places, and I wanted to stop in two different areas in my neighborhood, so you can see what the migrant wave is looking like. I mean, like, you know, and in my neighborhood, I mean, like, you know, again, we got dealt the migrant wave, which they're not all out in the open. I mean, it's a pretty nice day today, so you are gonna see a decent amount of people outside, I'm sure. But my neighborhood was packed right before this migrant wave, like, so it looked comparable to what it like looks like now, but every time I go, one, it looks a little worse. Two, if we had a too many people problem before, again, you also know that since 2020, like, I don't gotta prove it to you that we've had a big time migrant wave in New York City. So a lot of those people are ending up in my neighborhood. Now, again, like, we have a lot of Southern Americans in my neighborhood that have been arriving since the 2000s in mass. Yes. But and again, that was tough to deal with and navigate on his face. But now on top of that, like, these people ain't even acclimated yet. Like the Mexican cats that got here in the 90s and 2000s. Some of those cats don't even speak English, or like their first generations are being born now, like, you know. But we haven't even got to acclimate the Mexican cats yet that came in mass, where now we also threw a wave of straight up men only, male, mostly Venezuelans and Ecuadorians. From what I hear in my neighborhood, a lot of Ecuadorians, I mean, like, you'll get a one off here and there that's like a rapist or some shit like that, or somebody that's like demented, like, you know, that'll grab a bitch or some shit like that in the street. But they're not like clicked up like that, like gang wise and nothing like that. Whereas the Venezuelans in my neighborhood, they're not ganged up yet, but they're there. They're there already, but they're not repping like that, if you will. But they're there in numbers already. They just haven't really shown their teeth yet, because like the gang situation in Brooklyn is always a tenuous one. Like, you know, and in my neighborhood especially, like, my neighborhood has real heavy Mexican gangs now. It was one of the first neighborhoods in Brooklyn that had Mexican gangs, like, in mass. Like, my neighborhood has the biggest Mexican gang in probably all of New York City, and they started in my neighborhood, like, for reference. But now you have, in essence, another gang thrown on top of there with these Venezuelan men that are violent that just arrived. I mean, it'll probably take by this summer, like, where that's gonna start coming out into, like, all right, Venezuelan gangs versus, like, these people in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So that's dangerous. You know, it's dangerous for myself. You know, when I have my family still living there. You know, there's a propensity for a shootout happening just by the amount of shitheads that still live in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. But now you added another large group of male shitheads on top of them, and it's spelling as disaster. You know, and it's not just the violence either. I mean, it's just the condition that you're in. You know, like, the rents went up because of that, because the amount of people that are there. I mean, logically, you know, less housing. The cost of everything has gone up because of it too. I mean, yeah, is there a one-on-one correlation in cost? No, but certainly cost has been going up for everybody. I mean, if in New York, in my neighborhood, in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, the cost of everything has gone up. Sandwich, I mean, like, fucking pre-pandemic, $5, $7, like, now $14, $15, easy, bro. Like, the hell, like, you know. And these are, you know, a sandwich in my neighborhood is my dinner, like at times. Like if I don't feel like I want to cook, you like go to a New York deli and get yourself like a half a hero or some shit, or a sandwich. When the price of that goes up, I mean, yeah, that poor person could go and make something else. Of course they could, but we're all human beings. I mean, everybody wants like enjoys like not like cooking every night or fucking enjoying the fucking luxury of eating bread and meat like one night throughout the week. But when that cost goes up for poor people, I mean it sucks. Can't be explained away. Trying to see how I play this out. Actually, no. I'm gonna take the scenic route so I can show you guys. And we're approaching the Verrazano Bridge as we speak. That bridge over here to my left is the Verrazano Bridge. If you've seen the movie Saturday Night Fever, my favorite movie of all time, that's where John Leguizamo's homie jumps off the bridge to his death. We'll soon be driving over that bridge. But yeah, I'll continue. And I love and right now we're in Staten Island. This whole expense that we've been driving, we're entering once we get over the Verrazano Bridge, Brooklyn, New York City, my home. And again, I'm as much as I hate coming into New York now, I was psyching myself up to go. Not psyching myself up excited. I mean, I'm going to a funeral at the end of the day. I mean, there's no excitement in that. But I always enjoyed coming into New York. Like, my wife's from my neighborhood too, and it was always the tradition that I would go to New York and drive right through this route that I'm driving right now, which leaves you in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, which is the neighborhood near my neighborhood. And it was like a nice neighborhood. It was a very mixed neighborhood with a big shopping area. I made a video in that shopping area last year, I think, or during COVID. And the big store in that shopping area, Century 21, is now. So in essence, that shopping area is now nothing there except like bootleg stores. And you'll even see bums there and all that stuff. Whereas I met my wife off there, and that store was like a high-end store, kind of like Century 21, like it's like Bloomingdale's or Macy's. And now the economy has dealt it a bad blow. So that neighborhood, Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, whose central artery was that store and that little shopping area, now lost, in essence, its central artery. Which is sad, I always loved coming up here. And I actually went to school. This is my neighborhood, right? I mean, that's Bay Ridge, Brooklyn right there. See, that's the Army base, Fort Hamilton Army base. And that's Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. Bink. This Army base here was, like the old building there, was actually built as a fort in the 1700s, the bottom area there. And they actually had the house of that general Lee, Robert Lee. They actually had that house on that base. I still think it's there, but I think the woke army might have came for it and they had to relocate it. But it was a small, modest house. That school is Poly Prep. That was a rival for like my high school, Fort Hamilton, or the high school I first went to. You guys don't know my peeps. Your friend was not a great student, so I got kicked out of my first high school. I went from like the second biggest high school, Fort Hamilton High School, in all of the country. The biggest public high school in all of the country is Fort Hamilton High School. So I went from that high school, and I was actually a fly school too. Like there was a lot of women in that school, and it was known for that too. Everybody, it was a big school, so naturally it had like Puerto Rican chicks, white chicks, black chicks, Greek chicks, Italian chicks, because it was like in the white neighborhood kind of, but you would have people that would come from all over, because it was a good sports school and it was a nice school. So if you could cheat your way like by lying and saying that you live elsewhere like I did, like my dad friend lived in Bay Ridge. Oh, no, my dad's friend was a superintendent of a building in Bay Ridge, and we utilized his address to so that I could come to Fort Hamilton High School rather than my zone school, which was called John Jay. And John Jay, my zone school, the school that I would have gone to had I not cheated my way into Fort Hamilton, was at that time the worst school in all of the New York City system. So I wasn't trying to go there. And on top of that too, the gang that was, and my neighborhood basically like kind of ran the school, like, but I had beef with a lot of the people in my neighborhood at times. And like the blood thing was like humongous at that point. So I'm like, I kind of like don't have the best relationship with these dudes either. Like, so it, like, I just didn't want to risk it. Not well. That I did that when I was entering the school. I didn't have that problem. When I got kicked out of that school, I thought I was gonna have that problem, but I actually had a really good time when I went to John Jay. When I ultimately had to go to that school. So look, listen, I'm gonna go into this neighborhood. We're leaving Bay Ridge, Brooklyn now, and we're going into my neighborhood, Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Now I'm screwing myself over purposely because I love you people, but I'm going into the Chinese area of my neighborhood purposely. See, everything you see here, every house you see here, this was kind of like this was a real dead area back in the day. Like, I never even, you would walk here and you wouldn't even see cars like parked on the side, let's say, like in the early 90s, 80s, when I would walk around here. But now, probably in the late 90s, this started getting taken over by the Chinese. Now, this is still, Bay Ridge is kind of, see, like this bootleg store just popped up, Chinese, like all this shit now starts becoming heavy duty Asian. But, and look, like they take over all these storefronts. A lot of times they don't even have shit like going on, but territorially they just want to take over a lot of this area, like these areas. See, like, so they'll flip, like they'll break down one of these small buildings like this, and then they'll build one of these monstrosities like that. And I get, a lot of times too, they're not even allowed to, like, they close their work areas off where you're not allowed to, inspectors aren't allowed to go in there, and they'll just throw it up and bribe their way out of any fines that ultimately come when they come to do the final inspections. And a lot of them drive like shit too, abject shit. But this is not the bad area though. I mean, like, if you guys think I'm being hyperbolic, we're 8 blocks away from my neighborhood. We're still in deep Bay Ridge. So everything you see here is basically either taken over by agents. And look, this was a highly like like just dead or white area of my neighborhood. Like a lot of these people, this area, like they left like my neighborhood to come to this area when the Puerto Ricans moved in. So look, you see all this park, like that whole park, normally it would be old people or honestly nobody. This park was like dead all the time. Every single person you see here, Asian, and this is like in my neighborhood still. Like, look, and like we're not even in my, like, no, this isn't my neighborhood. So this is like the Parkville right here. My son used to play, his football league was here. So all these parks were like dead, quiet. Nothing would be here. You wouldn't see, you would come in these areas and walk and kind of like just see nothing. But now look how crowded this shit is. Like this park, Dust Bowl, it was called the Dust Bowl because nobody played here. Like nobody used it, so they called it Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl. But now, I mean, like, it's packed. So I know, like, some idiot's gonna say, well, if you guys didn't use it, then these people are gonna use it. Like, no, it was not in use because A, it was a softball field, so softball fields are not meant to be played on 100% of the time. But you also have the issue of just the sheer amount of people that came here. Oh, actually, look, this building right here, like I'm giving you guys a legit tour of my neighborhood. This is Sunset Park proper. But if you guys have seen the movie Saturday Night Fever, and look, and now we're entering into the real Asian area of Sunset Park. So again, I'm not saying Chinatown, New York City. I'm saying Sunset Park, Brooklyn. I'm from Sunset Park, Brooklyn. They're fucking cooking ducks. Like my man right here, like probably not gonna wash his hands and like go serve it up. And but if you got this building right here, if you guys ever seen the movie Saturday Night Fever, this is the actual club that that John Travolta dances in. The entrance of the club is right here, and Wyclef made a music video modeled after that. So if you guys look at this entrance there, that's the entrance of the club from Saturday Night Fever. And now look at what this is being used for. Asian Night Fever. You know, and these people like they're territorial about theirs. They consider a lot of times like because I lived on this avenue. Like before I left Brooklyn, I was actually living on this avenue. And when my parents first came from Puerto Rico, we lived on this avenue too, the other end of it though. But now these people that are coming, these new Asian cats that are coming, they're very, very territorial about everything they do. They move like a unit. Their takeover game is on smash. Look, like these monstrosity buildings, they're awful. Awful looking. I mean, like, and this was never packed like this, my people. I'm telling you guys, like, I used to walk through this neighborhood, through this part, 8th Avenue of Sunset Park, Brooklyn, so that I don't bump into people. And again, I lived on this avenue. Like, nobody could tell me shit. I lived on this avenue early 80s for many years, decades. Stop fronting. Stop fronting. You know, for anybody who tries to follow after the who's from Brooklyn, like nobody could tell me more about Brooklyn than Sir FoulPlayer Ski. Nobody could tell me about fucking Sunset Park, Brooklyn, particularly. And I'm telling you guys this because I'm going, my neighborhood, my hometown, through a migrant crisis. Migrant crisis. Look at this. Look at this. How many English signs do you see out here? 0. And I'm not being a bigot. I'm not being a bigot. But I mean, if you're tripping about me like wearing a mask, or like about people not going like where they're not supposed to be, or about having a gathering of over 6 people where this guy doesn't have a license and he's right up on my shit, and that's most of the mode of transportation in New York now, because they make it hard for cars to navigate. And again, like this is the avenue that I would go to avoid people. Avoid people. You know what I'm saying? Now look at it. And again, these people are territorial. They move as a unit. Your people do not move as a unit. My people do not use as a do not move as a unit. When these people started coming here, my people like looked at it as how cultural. See, so look, I'm from the 40s in Sunset Park. Sunset Park begins in most people's eyes on 61st Street. We're on 60th Street. We're not even in the heart of like Asian Sunset Park. This is the one business that's in that's still left in this neighborhood. This bar's been here since the 1800s. Soccer Tavern. This is one of the oldest bars in all New York City. I believe it's the oldest bar in Brooklyn, and it's gonna get overrun at some point. With so a little bit of history that's gonna get jacked up. But you guys see, I mean, I gotta keep the camera up high. I'm gonna unplug my phone. But you guys see it. Listen, man. I hope you guys leave comments too, because I'm not seeing them. But what I'm describing as far as migration, we already had migration issues, and now what I'm indicating to you here, you're not seeing Spanish people here, but I'm telling you, we got dumped many Spanish people, and I'll go to that area next. But we already had a migration issue. We already had an issue of people telling you, oh, well, like, you're unsafe because you're not taking all kinds of shots because all these diseases that are coming from bat markets, but you're bringing the bat market here. I mean, it's out in the open. where are you seeing English here? Where's the American way being delved into? I mean, and let's point out the obvious here is that I mean, if you had to pick three countries that our country may have beef with, I mean, this country might be chief among them. These people aren't Americanized one iota. Look at how beautiful they got this neighborhood. Look how gorgeous they keep it. Our beautiful piles of trash. Uh, Beautiful New York. We are so back. Welcome to the live chat. Yeah, I see no live chat, bitch. If you guys are chatting, and you know me, like text me or some shit. Like I don't know if I'm tripping, but this is again a legit migrant crisis before COVID, a legit migrant crisis before Trump, a legit migrant crisis before New York City had this fake. I mean, this legit this Venezuelan recent migrant crisis that the Biden administration landed upon New York City and my neighborhood that I'm driving through right now. This shithole. Look at this. Look at this guy. Where the Americans at over here? Where's the Spanish people, the black people, the American? They pretty much took a whole chunk overnight in this whole area. And you know, a lot of these people too. I'm gonna give you guys a little secret while I'm here. I always dreamed about telling you guys a little secret about this community here while I was making this video. So you know what? Screw it. No better time than today. And I'll tell you the little secret now. While this Amazon driver looks along, who's not of this country. While we're waiting in front of Ohio, I'll tell you the little secret about this community. The secret is that when I first started noticing this community, I would notice that they sent a lot of old people here into America. And this was in the 90s. Come to find out that the reason that they were sending old people here is because of our social security system is so stupid that it allows people from other countries to come who are older and use our social security. So a lot of the older people here who were born and raised in China and paid taxes into China and made China great get to utilize our social security system in their retirement. Because I would notice that a lot of these people were buying these buildings. These buildings, I've always been interested in real estate. A building like this, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Look, this is one building right here, 5806. So that building would be this storefront and 2 apartments on the top. That's 1 unit right there. Before this fucking dipshit fucking almost parks into me with a motorized bike. Because everybody's allowed to have a motorized bike in New York. But God forbid, you drive a car look, and they make it like they put shit like this in your way to make it harder for car travel. See, that doesn't impede bike travel or which is all over the place. I mean, it seems like these people have a never-ending supply of these motorcycles, which are allowed. You can do whatever you want, eat lights while you drive them, no problem. But some of these buildings, like I said, before 98, let's say, a building of this size in this neighborhood would probably run you about 150,000. Up until like 2000, let's say. When I in 2004 I wanted to buy a house in this neighborhood. It was always my dream to buy a brownstone here. And I started looking into it. The prices were like 300,000, and I was like, man, these people are tripping, because that gotta come down. But what I wasn't realizing, not that I didn't realize, but I didn't factor monetarily was that the people that had come into my neighborhood, like, which a lot of them were like Chinese, more Mexican, just more people in general, yuppies, that those people weren't going anywhere anytime soon, and that they were gonna lift the rates of rents and real estate, so that those prices were gonna keep going up. I thought they were gonna go down, and they didn't go up. But what I started to see is that when these people, like the Asian community, started buying out in this neighborhood, that they would pay cash, and they would pay way over asking price. Like if you listed a house for 300,000, they would tell you, I'll give you $450, but you got to leave in 1 month. And as soon as you left, they would start renovating it, and they would renovate it to make it into smaller units. So if they had one apartment that would fit, it had 3 bedrooms, they would make that into 3 small, tiny apartments that were 1 bedroom apiece. You know, and maybe even share a bathroom with one of the units. Like, I mean, they would just divvy it up. It seemed like they would just go above and beyond just to get people here. And to me, it makes all the sense in the world that if China was trying to release the medical bill of their elderly, by unleashing it on dumb America, by having people from other countries utilize our social security system, then I mean, China's smart for doing that, and we're dumb for accepting it. I want to buy that truck. Not that color though, God forbid. But that's the and look, listen, like guys, my neighborhood doesn't really start in earnest till about this block, 53rd. I'm not gonna go like the whole expanse of 53rd because I have shit to do. Look at this idiot. Look, I'm turning slowly and he's like fucking, I'm taking long on purpose. But this shit is packed out, man. Like I said, like, you know, and this is not fun to drive in. Like, I don't look at this like, all right, like, yeah, I'm gonna make a quick turn. Like, this is so fun. Like, go ahead, bud. I don't know why you're stopping there. And this is a fucking yuppie, bro. Like, non-navigating, fucking non-logic yuppie. Fucking lucky he has a Met hat on. Idiot. I live in Chinatown. Cultural. Idiot. But listen, like, you know, hey, sir, Mr. Bruce, guys. Oh, thank you for commenting, because I was afraid that I wasn't seeing any comments. Thank you for coming through, Mr. Bruce, guys. And I'm don't think I'm a schizo, my friend. I'm actually doing a live tour of my neighborhood, Sunset Park, Brooklyn. I actually went, if you rewind back 15-20 minutes, I went through the Asian portion of my community. Now we're going, like, and I just left the Asian portion as you came in, but now we're going to the Latin portion. Oh, my man's, yo, my nigga Dave, what up, bro? What up, bro? How you doing, bro? Chilling, bro. I love you, bro. Stay. My bad, guys. I ain't want to put him on camera. Yo, but we're not. We're just entering into the and this is like not really the heavy duty Latin area. I'm not from this block too. Like, I mean, I don't like a lot of the people here, but like fucking that was one of my mans, so I gotta say what up. Oh, I see another one of my people's here too. Let me say what's up. No, but like then we're not there yet, like in the real deep Latin area. Hey, yo, Nefty! What up, Nef? I'm coming back around. Y'all come back around. Come back around. My bad, bro. One sec. No, I was gonna tell this guy something, but I'm not gonna tell. Like, fucking moron honking the horn. So now we're entering like the Latin area. Like, again, you see the Puerto Rock flags waving. This is and I don't like a lot of these people here either. Like, I mean, like, but I'm doing it for the love of and to provide you people with the content of the area in which I live in. You know, like, I don't live here no more. Like, fucking I got it. I got it. Okay. Yeah, it's a nice car, bro.
Thank you, my brother. Nice truck.
Thank you, man. But you know, I live in this. I mean, I'm from this area. You know, like and I worry about that migrant wave that has arrived here. You know, like, my brother is strung out like to half to death in these same streets, and I'm gonna go until I go to my friend's house. I'll just stay on this. Is that my niece? Oh no. My niece still lives out here. But so this is 5th Avenue, and this is the Latin area. So already I showed you in my neighborhood alone, like, the second biggest Asian community in the whole America. I think in the whole East Coast or all America. Sunset Park, Brooklyn has the second biggest Asian community outside of Chinatown, Manhattan. Now, like you've heard of Chinatown, Manhattan. Nobody's heard of fucking Rinky Dink, Sunset Park, Brooklyn, which I'm in right now. So I already showed you how packed out it is, like with the Asian invasion that happened um, in the last couple years. Which I mean, they didn't bring anything with them. You know, these are the cleanest people God invented. But you know, for American citizens to gather with 6 or more people during COVID time, you know, you were a bigot. But not a lot of people out as I thought. But we're not in the premier area. But like, I mean, like a lot of this shit is junked out now too. Look, all our retail either ghetto or gone. Fucking morons. I mean, you name it. We have tons of morons still here. Like, and this is either a Dominican or a Venezuelan moron. You know, we do have a endless supply of those, but still in full force. Double park morons. Still celebrating Halloween apparently. Fucking probably lives in a bunk bed. But you know, again, we got laced in here in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, with a secondary migrant crisis because of the Biden administration. And if I go and ask people around here, the thing is that I don't want to get in an emotional conversation. I thought about doing that and playing myself. But I'm going to a funeral, so I want to go in there. I don't want to go in there after I had to like headbutt somebody or some shit because they're emotional about fucking. But look, I'm guessing that I'm not seeing a lot of people because a lot of these retail is also kibosh too. But this neighborhood, I mean, but you could also see that this doesn't look very American. None of the shit you see here, none of the shit here you see here looks very fucking promising. In fact, if we see my brother, we could all. I'll show you some despair in the flesh. Look, gang graffiti, great. Like that's the gang I mentioned too earlier in this live stream. Niños Malos, NM. And I believe my knucklehead niece may be affiliated with these characters. But you know, this is all the reality of this neighborhood. That again, like it got laced with the problem of leftist retarded policies, leftist retarded choices. Left what was already a poor neighborhood, what was already a neighborhood that had a really bad migrant problem, what was already a neighborhood that was inundated and packed with yuppies like this idiot and immigrants. They just threw more migrants, and they always, and God forbid you criticized it because you were a bigot. And I'm Puerto Rican and criticized it, and like, you know, I had college rainbowers label me a bigot, and you know, at time, you know, while living through it, it was hard to contend against it. Now in 2024, I think a lot of people feel the way I feel. Like now, you know, to hell with what anybody says. I'd rather be labeled a bigot than non-observant or not awake. See, look at this shit. And I, you know, and that's not like this guy passes on my right. So no matter what, like you got to be on your fucking defensive driving in New York because just the amount of fucking assholes. This is like the more tougher area as far as migrants go. See, but not tougher area as far as migrants. So this is a tougher area in general. But there's actually a little gang that's beside me now. But they're a motorcycle gang, and I want to respect the bros. And I don't want to play myself, fucking act like a yup. But actually, you could tell the bikes right here. It's dope. And these dudes have been around for a while. I'm not gonna shout their names out, but you know, and then you know my bros right here. I mean, like, you know, all these dudes right here. I mean, like they're an institution in my neighborhood, but then they gotta contend against this wave of migrants too. I mean, in spite of the fact that yeah, they're a crew, but a lot of these dudes just like riding bikes. I mean, in spite of if they're 1%er or not, like fucking but when you have a group of dudes that gets landed upon them, I mean, that's with anybody. That's whether you're a biker, whether you're a gangster, whether, you know, you could be whoever. And this is a major headache, regardless of your walk of life in New York. Look at this mariachi band. God knows. But anyways, and this is my peak Sunset Park right here. So you went like again, you know, like this is actually the Sunset Park, the park right here. These like trees that you see there. And there's more migrants at the other end to 41st and 5th. A lot of them are situated there. The dickheads. But I gotta go to my friend's house, and I don't want to give his location away. So I'm gonna be cutting it off here. Thank you guys for joining me, and thank you for stepping into Foul Playland with me. As always, I am Sir Foul Player. Peace.